remember being pretty hard with my sister some days ago, and my girlfriend asks like, why are you treating her like that?
Mm,
And when she asked me like this, I was like, yeah, I never treated her like that. Why I'm treating her? And I realized was because I was seeing myself on her. I was like,
mm,
oh, she's acting like myself when I was younger, and this is how I treat myself. I treat myself like this,
mm.
and I was in shock. I was like, oh my god, yeah, this is hard. This is hard. I deal with it like every day,
Yeah.
and I think you are dealing with the same. I resonate with you. It's heavy. It's heavy.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's heavy. Welcome to the Taking Off the Mask podcast. My name is Ashanti Branch, and I'm really glad you've joined us. Today's guest is André Portela. Now, I've been trying to say his name for a few moments now. André is from Brazil. And so if you know that they speak Portuguese there, and I'm actually trying to learn Portuguese, but I've been pronouncing André, his name, wrong for about a year. And only in this conversation did I realize that he just didn't tell me. He didn't tell me that I had been saying his name wrong, you know? Here's a little language lesson if you care. The R's in Portuguese sound like H's. And so when I write out his name, because I speak Spanish, I always pronounce his name like I would in Spanish, but that's not accurate. And so I've been working on my sounds and accents. I felt bad that he didn't tell me for such a long time that I was saying his name wrong, right? I think our names are important to us, but he didn't want to make me feel bad, or he didn't want to make a problem out of it. And so I think it touches on what we could talk about in this conversation. Like, what are the things that we do to confront or not confront things that make us uncomfortable, that make us worried, that make us fear? We talk about relationships and how we may take an old relationship narrative into a new relationship. So we may protect ourselves in different ways. We may put up guards and walls, and Andre talks about putting up these walls from old experiences and other relationships to new relationships where you're all of a sudden like, I'm not going to get hurt again. I'm not letting nobody hurt me again. So I'm going to do these things. I'm going to act this way. And sometimes it causes us to act outside of our own comfort zone, outside of our own really way that we want to show up in our values. And this conversation, you're going to hear some important topics, right? I mean, relationships, belief in ourself, uh, the idea of self confidence and feeling special and feeling important. And there's one part in the conversation that really hopefully you enjoy it, because it's really an interesting piece. Because one of Andre's friends told him a statement, and what I heard in the statement was from my perspective. I heard it from my perspective. I had to ask, I was like, well, here's what I hear this friend telling you. And when he repeated it again, he was like, well, no, the friend was saying this. I'm trying not to like give you too many of the words here, but it's really about how do you understand when someone tells you, don't think you're so special. Don't think you're so special. You don't have to try and don't be so special. And I wonder sometimes, how often do we hear language and words from people that are totally not in alignment with our own selves, that are totally like, wait a minute, why are you telling me I shouldn't feel special? Like, what does that mean? And in this conversation, you're going to hear the different interpretations of that phrase. What if I don't have to pretend that I'm special, because I am? And so just be myself. And then I could be more whole. I mean, just a beautiful part of the conversation that I hope you enjoy. You know, one of the things that I've been marinating over is this idea of how often our conversations with people get misunderstood. I think Paulo Freire talks about a choque, right? A choque, right? like when you have a crash in conversation, like I'm saying something, someone hears something that is from their paradigm, from their point of view, from their own level of projections, and then they become upset because what they heard was one thing. You ever had an argument like that? You ever had an argument where you said something and someone says, "How dare you talk to me like that?" And you're like, "Huh? What did I say?" You may not even know that you said some words that were going to set somebody off, because how they hear words and how they have interpreted it means something different than what you mean by it. Maybe you've seen it on movies. I mean, it's a funny time when someone says something and there's a double meaning in that word, but the person who heard it is now offended. I imagine you maybe experienced that in your life at some point, where somebody interpreted your words to mean something that you didn't intend them to mean. Now, we also have a lot of people in our world today that are saying words intending to hurt people. Didn't plan to go here. They're saying words that are hurtful and harmful. And then they're running behind the Constitution to say, "Hey, I got free speech. I can say whatever I want." Man, what if the Constitution has something to do with our hearts and our kindness and caring and loving, but it doesn't? So therefore, people have the right to say whatever they want to say. And we, as people who also abide by that same rule book, that same Constitution, we say, all right, well, they have the right to say what they want to say. So I don't need to be so mad at them. I don't need to talk about them so bad about what they're saying. They have the right to say whatever they want. But words hurt. And if anyone has ever been hurt by words, you know how much words can hurt. And so in this conversation with André Portela from Brazil, who is a part of this Million Mask movement, he's working on our team with us. You're gonna hear some words from his heart. You've seen already some of his work. If you're following us on anywhere on social media, you've seen some of his work. I hope that you enjoy this conversation. And as we get close to the end of the year, we're excited about these next few guests that you're going to hear from. And we're excited to kick off 2023 with some new stuff. I mean, we're still having these conversations with men. We're still having conversations with young men, but you're going to get to meet our new host for our youth podcast. You're going to get to hear some activities that are going to plan for Ever Forward. You're going to be a part of the new campaign for the Million Mask movement. And you get to do it just by listening to these conversations. So thank you for being a part. If you have not yet commented, liked, or subscribed to the podcast, please do that. That's the best way for more people to hear about it. And we thank you for being a part of this journey with us as we get to the end of 2023. Please enjoy today's episode. And just a reminder, if you want to make a mask, André and I are making our mask publicly. We're sharing it publicly. But you don't have to do that. You can actually go to our website, and we have a new and improved Million Mask Movement website, millionmask.org, and make a mask. And for those of you that are new to the movement, I want to just let you know how the mask works. The front of the mask are the things that we gladly let the world see, the front. And the back of the mask are the things that we don't usually talk about, that we don't usually let people see. And there's lots of layers of what we don't let people see. It may not be the toughest, hardest thing you've ever been through in your life, but it is the things that you don't get to talk about much. So we hope that you will make a mask as well and see this movement, how it feels. We found that a lot of times it can be very liberating. And if you're an educator, I highly encourage you. I think it's right now time to sign up your school, invite your students to make masks, and see what your students are going through in a really beautiful way. We look forward to seeing you soon. We look forward to being a part of this movement with you. And thank you for listening to Taking Off the Mask podcast. See you soon, folks. Bye now. André Portela. I keep wanting to put the R sound in there, and there's no R sound. André Portela.
Yeah.
Hey, André Portela. Portela. I'm going to do it again. Welcome to the Taking Off the Mask podcast. My name is Ashanti Branch. I'm so glad you've joined us. Today's guest is André Portela. André is from Brazil. And I just learned right before this call, just so you all know, I've been pronouncing his name wrong for a year. And and I think I finally got it. I'm still working on it. I've been practicing wrong for a long time. And André, welcome to the show.
Thanks a lot, Ashanti. It's good to be here. We are talking about this show a time like ago, and I am glad to be here finally. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Listen, folks, Andre and I know each other. He's been doing some work with Ever Forward on the Million Mask movement. We're super excited about that, and he's listened to several of the episodes, and we've been talking about the podcast, and he's helping us to grow the work where he is. He's going to tell you where he's from in a second. You picked it up already in his accent, but I don't know if you picked it up. But he's going to tell you. Andre, will you tell folks about yourself, what you want them to know about you? And then we're going to jump into the conversation.
Okay, so my name is André Portela. I am 20 years old right now. I am from Brazil, and there's your answer. I'm from Brazil. I am from a city that is on the northeast from Brazil. That is Fortaleza, on Ceará. But now I am living on São Paulo. That some of you or maybe know. And I am passionate about education. My big love of my life is education since I was little. My mom is a teacher, and I have a relationship with education since I was a baby. Like, and now I am licenciating on educommunication, but I think if you search educommunication in English right there, like this, you will not find what I study. So it's best to look Educomunicação, that is on Portuguese. Yeah, this is it.
Right on. Educommunication. So educommunication is that the combination of two words? Is it education and
Yeah,
communication?
a communication, exactly. We
Got
work with education throughout the communication tools. So television, internet, web, radio, podcasts. What we are doing here, we work on that, and we understand that this can educate not only classes, not only schools, but all kind of communication can be used to educate. Yeah.
it. And I think that that's really important in the work that we're doing with the Million Mass Movement is like, how do
Yeah.
we communicate the message out to the world about this important thing? And what are the different mediums that we need to get people's attention, right? I think
Right.
so. That's been part of our work. So, listen, thank you for sharing that. We're gonna jump into these masks. I really am so excited to be here with you. You know, let's do this. Since you're the guest, you get to decide who goes first, and then
Okay.
uh and then we'll go from there. And you've
Okay.
heard many
Okay.
episodes, so you can you decide what you feel right.
Yeah, I already did some masks, but I need to be honest. I think this one I was the most honest on doing the masks that those before. Like this one, I put my heart, so it'll be good. But I want you to start it.
Okay,
Yeah,
fantastic. You want me to start it?
yeah.
Okay, okay. Well, I appreciate you for taking this opportunity to you said to put your heart. I mean, I think you and I are sharing our mask here publicly, and what we invite people to do around the world is to share their masks, privately. So, folks, if you don't know what the mask is the front is the things that we gladly let the world see. The things on the back are the things that we don't usually let people see. And then we draw a picture, and the picture is whatever comes to your mind. It's not to test your art skills. It's really just to do some kind of mindless task of just like putting a drawing down, or maybe it's very mindful. Like the goal is not to stress over the drawing. So uh, they wants
Yeah.
me to go first, so I'm going to go first. And today's mask is actually pretty interesting because when you said You said you put your heart on it. My image, I don't even know what it is today. Now that I'm looking at it, okay, this is the mask.
Oh, this is
Uh,
beautiful.
I was in San Francisco the other day, and I got inspired by this image on a wall, and this is not the image. So if the artist is out there, don't be mad. This is my interpretation of the image. Um, but there's hearts in there, right? And I think this work is
Right.
really deeply heartfelt work, you know. So
Yeah.
that's the image, and so the words I put in there today, that I things I let people see: dedicated, busy, and
Busy.
caring. Let me get that. The light is being funny today. Dedicated, busy, and caring. And yeah, I think thinking about those three words, I think when I think about this, I think it may be the first time I wrote busy on the front, because I think people see that I'm busy. I'm not against people seeing that I'm busy. Actually, sometimes people ask me how I'm doing. I'm saying super busy. Um,
Yeah.
I think I have gotten really comfortable in the mindset that being busy means being productive, and I don't always feel as productive as I want to feel. And so, but I am busy a lot, and I'm learning to be more effective. I'm learning to be more. I want to be able to show people that I'm effective, as opposed to always just busy. Right? I think, being busy and not being effective is kind of doesn't help anybody necessarily. So that's one, and I think because people see that I'm busy, I think sometimes I've had to work with students in my program to not worry about my busyness as a reason not to let me know what's going on, right? Because I think sometimes if I find out they've been going through something, I'm like, why didn't you tell me? They're like, oh, you're so busy. I'm like, yeah, but that's when have you ever known me not to be busy? I've I've always been busy ever since you know me. Like it's not a my busyness isn't my don't have time for other stuff. But I think if people, when they translate it that way, it causes people maybe not to reach out, even though you're totally caring, right? And that's the other word, caring. Like I think deep down, I I want to do what I can to help people. Definitely the young people in our program. Sometimes I think they're going through stuff and they don't tell me. And I think I have one of my godsons that I am really been thinking about a lot, and he's I found out that he's being bullied, right? And he didn't tell me, right? And I get it, because I was bullied too, and so I didn't tell my mom. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell anybody, and
Yeah.
so just knowing that, did he not tell me because he thought I was too busy to listen? Did he? And that's a story I tell myself. I know it's probably not any of that, but it today, this morning, his mom told me, and so I've been really like just rechecking myself and just making sure I let him know that I'm there for him and whenever he wants to talk. So those are the things that are what I really show the world: dedicated, busy, and caring.
Yeah. Yeah. I resonate a lot with that. I resonate a lot. And you talked about busy, and this will connect with my masks, but I and be busy and be effective, like be productive, like give some results,
Yeah.
and I caught myself at the same way, like doing stuff, but at the same time not really being productive.
Mm,
And I remind myself that one thing that I did like long time ago was make a list. And this was making problems with my relationship with my girlfriend, because I was like not doing things on the house, and we are living together right now, and I was not making things on the house, and she was like, "Oh, you need to help," and I was like, "Yeah, I need to help," and I started again to make a list, and this works very well for me. But I didn't know because why I stop it because I works a lot with lists. I remember that I used a lot before the pandemic, and somehow I stopped it. I don't know why. Until now, I still don't know why. But I started again, and I felt the same. I think I was like, oh, I am doing stuff, but I don't have time to do everything, and I am not seeing what I am doing. Like, and the list helped me a lot. And you talking about you being busy and people don't reach out and you be caring, and I think these are two connect, like they are really connect, being caring and being busy, and people don't reach out. Because now I work a lot with you, Ashanti, and one thing that I feel is like you are much caring. I feel that, I feel that you have a lot of love in your heart, and this is really good, and we want to help you too. And when you we are seeing that you're busy, we are like, we don't want to give more stuff to you to deal with it, you know. And I think is that what you're dealing with, is like people around you that you care a lot are not telling you about stuff because they care a
Mm,
lot about you, maybe, you know, and they
mm,
don't want to disturb you. I think this is the word,
mm.
and this is the thing. I think I
Yeah.
was already bullied, also, and I remember that when I was bullied, I didn't want to tell my mom about it. You know,
Mm,
the first thing that it caught me was that I once don't want to tell my mom. The same thing happens when I was depressive. I was like, I
mm.
don't want to be a disturb. I don't want that she needs to handle this. You know, I can
Yeah.
handle, and I couldn't. You know,
Yeah.
so one day I finally talked with her, and I got better, but until there I was like, I don't want to be a thing for her to deal. You know, I want to be
Yeah.
her son, and just that. And this was on my mind those this time, you know, that time.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you for that. I'm gonna share that with my sister about that. But my godson, I think yeah, I think that's a powerful
Yeah,
statement, right? And I think and what ends up happening on the other side is that sometimes I can see it. I can see people are having something's going on. And I'm like, hey, what's happening? What's going on? Like, and then they're like,
yeah,
oh, nothing. And I'm like,
nothing.
yeah, no, there's something is like, even though they're not telling me, like sometimes if I know the person, I can feel it. I can
Yeah,
feel,
there's
and I
something
think then
there.
yeah,
Yeah,
and then sometimes they're like that. You like, you know, oh well, I don't want to bother you with this. I said, no, I'm asking because I care. I'm asking because I want to make space for this, right? And I think that
yeah,
same thing you said, like if people are thinking, well, I don't want to bother them with my stuff, I don't want to burden them with my stuff, then I'm going to keep it to myself. But deep down, I really want to talk about it, right? And I think that
yeah,
that is so important. And I think it's just, in my work I've learned over the years, I have to keep reminding people, especially the young men I work with, when they go on their disappearing acts and hey,
yeah,
where you been? I haven't heard from you in a while. Oh, well, I know. And I always have to be like, don't think for me. Don't tell me that I'm too busy. Like if I'm too busy, I'll tell you. But
yeah,
if you need me, I'm here, right? And I think how to help people not over, and I know I do it too. So I when they do it, I know I'm that way too. Like people who I probably sometimes want to reach out to and ask for help, or I'm like, yeah, I don't want to bother them. They're too busy.
yeah,
And so when somebody does it to me, I get it, and I don't want them to do it. And so
yeah.
it's that balance. Yeah. Yeah.
and,
Thank
and
you. Thank you for that.
and it's a thing that is, I think it's cultural, I think, because
Mm,
like the thing of, um if someone helps you, you are bothering them. Like
Mm,
it is not that. Like if they are helping you, it's because they want to. It's not because they are obligated to do this. And I
mm,
remember that always when I asked my sister to do something for me,
yeah.
I said, like, on the ending, I was said, like, oh, sorry, I am sorry. Like, oh, you can do this to me. I'm sorry for bothering you. Can you do this? And she was like, never say sorry when you ask something. Say thank you. Thank you is the word.
Mm,
Like, it's not sorry. You're not bothering me. You are asking me and you are thanking me that I'm spending my time with you. And this is it. It's just this. Like,
mm,
it's not a problem. It's just an action. Yeah.
mm. Nice.
And this changes a lot my mindset. Even though sometimes I think, like, oh, maybe I'm bothering this person. Yeah.
Mm, yeah. Beautiful. Okay. All right. Well,
Yeah.
that's the front. That's the front.
That's the
And now,
front.
and now it's your turn.
My turn, my turn, my
Yeah.
front.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh man. All right.
Yeah. I didn't show my yet.
We
So,
already in there.
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
my mask. Oh, first of all, I work with Million Mask Movement, so I didn't have to try it to do the logo, and I tried. I tried do the logo,
Nice.
and
Nice. All you're missing is the arrow.
yeah, yeah, because, like, don't fit. Like, I was like, if I put the arrow, the S as gone. And I was like, I tried.
Uh, that's cool. I like it. Well, hey, there's gonna be eventually a contest, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So, and here is the
Look at that.
mask. I
Mm,
will talk about it because for people that are just listening, that is
yeah.
like a mask with a lot of stars or sparkles on it,
Yeah.
and a hero mask like the Ninja Turtle, like on the
Mm,
eyes, and
yeah.
a really long beard
Yeah.
with a big smile, on it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Ninja Turtle. Nice.
And the words are hero, mature, and special.
Mm,
And I didn't think that I was writing those words until I write it.
mm,
Because I didn't know until I stopped it and thinking about what I show to the world, what I want
yeah.
to show. I didn't think it. And hero is like, I think my big dream, I want to change education and everything,
Mm,
but my child dream, is was always to be a hero. Like, as I watched my series and animes that I like most, I wanted to be a hero like the ones that I saw. I want to
mm,
save lives. And this is a huge thing, to be a
yeah.
hero. This is a huge thing and heavy. So if I want to show this to the world, I was thinking on my mind, I need always to be smiling. I need always to be strong. I need to save everyone. I need to pay attention to everyone. And this always takes a lot of energy from me, like, to
Mm,
be that person. I am not that person so much anymore. Like, I change it a lot, and I
yeah.
don't want to be that hero so much that I lost all my energy doing this.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I still have this image that I want to be a hero. I want to people, like, thank me to help them, and this makes difference for me. And this is what I want to show. Like, I am here for you. And mature, that this is why hero is why I draw the hero mask, like the Ninja Turtle. And mature was the beard. the long beard, and we had a
Mm.
conversation about it. That was, oh, I am letting grow to be a wisdom, like with a long beard, but I draw a long beard because of this that matureness. Like, I want to show that I'm mature. I want to show that I can deal with it, that I can deal with everything that people put to me because I have experience to deal with it.
Yeah.
But not always. Not always I have this experience to deal with it. Sometimes I am caught off guard. I have mistakes, do mistakes. I I have troubles, and I have some things that are not qualities, like some things that are problems in me that I am trying to deal with it. Like my
Yeah.
communication sometimes is awful. Like awful. I try to, oh, the sky is blue, and I saw like, oh, it's purple, and some people are like, oh, what? And yeah, and I done it a bit. So this is the thing. I want to try to show that I'm mature. So, oh, 2 days ago, I was in a big pain on my back, you know,
Mm.
and I was like, I tell my mom I'm living away from her, and I tell my mom like, oh, I am in pain, and she was like, "Oh, take some medicine, do this, do that." Like I think moms do, like take care of this and everything. And I was like, "No, I am fine. I'm good. I am taking care and everything." But at the same time, my pain was like blowing my mind. I was like, "Oh my god, this is so much
Mm.
pain." And she didn't know about it. She will know when she watched it, but she don't know about. And this is the mature thing. There's I'm dealing with it. I am living alone in another state, in another city, and
Mm.
I want to show that I'm dealing with it good enough to them, to my parents. Don't don't be preoccupied. Like
Mm.
be don't be awake every time that I am on a party, or every time that I am doing stuff on the streets. Don't be like, oh, what will happen with my son? And this is
Yeah.
what I want to show. And the other thing, the last, is that I am special. And
Mm.
I always think like, oh, I want to be special. Like I want to be someone. I want to be remembered. And
Mm.
at the
Mm.
same time, this is a heavy thing. And a friend of mine says to me one time that, oh, when you realize that you are not special as you think you are, this is this takes a lot of things that you are carrying, and you
Mm.
can be yourself more, so you can be yourself more, because you don't need to, oh, I am special, and this is the sparkling thing on the mask. I am special, I am a shining, oh, someone sees me and think, oh, this one will change the world. No, like I am a normal guy doing my stuff and trying to make a difference on my way. I don't need to
Mm.
be special to change the world. I don't need
Yeah.
to be famous and knowing by everyone to change the world. I just need to be me. And but at the same time, I
Mm.
want to people look at me and, oh, this one is special. This one will change the world. And I try to put the mask. Like people will see me and think that this, but it's heavy. It's heavy to do this. It's Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Uh, can you repeat the quote that your friend said to you? What did your friend say to you?
Yeah, is that when you realize that you are not as special as you think of,
Hmm.
you will be much more yourself than you are right now.
Mm. Yeah, 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 yeah. That's interesting. I mean, I'm taking it all in. Thank you for that. First of all, and I
Yeah.
really like the way you put the three pieces with the three uh the elements in the mask,
In the
right?
mask.
That's
Yeah.
um
We are
when
in the
you
mask.
realize you're not as special as you think you are. Say the last part of that again. When you think when you realize you're not as special as you think you are.
You will realize that you can be much more yourself than
Hmm.
that you are now. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking that one in because actually it's interesting, right? I think first of all, I think you are special. I think you're
Yeah.
amazing, and I'm excited. And I think the idea of like, how do we come to a place in our lives where we can be like, "Hey, I'm just doing my best." You know, all the people who've changed the world. Maybe there were times in their silence of their own, mirror while they're washing their face is like, "You're doing good work. You're going to make the world a better place." Like, I wonder, and the word special can be used in lots of ways. I think sometimes people
Yeah.
also try and I think sometimes people try and uh I'm not saying your friend was doing this. I'm just wondering. I had to, the reason I asked you 3 times to say it because I'm trying to feel like, what would I feel like if someone said that to me? Like, if
Yeah.
someone said that to me, how would I take that? And I would have to, maybe it would be moment to moment realizing it, but I would be like, because if I was, we're taking off the mask here, like, I want to change the world. Like, I want to make the world a better place. I want to transform education. I'm putting time, energy, resources like into a dream of making the world better for the next generations, you know?
Yeah.
And I wonder if someone said that to me, I gotta take it in because it's actually a powerful, it's an interesting statement. And maybe it all depends on how good of a friend
Yeah.
that person is, right? For us. Like, oh, they're just trying to keep me humble. Well, how about if a friend was like, and you are absolutely special and amazing also, right? I wonder, would I be,
Yeah.
we can be much more happier if I was like, if I was being more myself. Well, if I was actually being more myself, I wonder if this is me responding to it, I would tell people more often that I think I'm special. If I
Yeah.
was being more honest with myself, if I was being more my authentic self, I would say to people more often, I think I'm doing really good work in the world because
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I would believe in myself more. I would be it makes me feel good to say good things about myself. But I have been trained by my community to not brag about myself, which is similar to that statement, right? And so
Yeah.
I oftentimes don't think that I'm special. I think I
Yeah. Yeah.
oftentimes
Yeah.
talk, oh wow, I feel this one right here. I think, ooh, yeah, that's powerful.
Yeah.
I actually talk more negative about myself than I do positive. I don't like that. So I wonder, when people say, like, that's why I had to have you read it again because, or say that quote again, because I wonder what I would say to someone if I heard two young men talking and I heard one say, "Hey, don't think you're so special." I would wonder what he meant by that. I would be like, well, why did you tell him that?
Yeah.
Why shouldn't I want people to think they're special? I want people to think they're amazing. I want people to think they're beautiful. I want people to think that they're not in the service of tearing other people down, but to be like, I get to elevate myself. I don't have to wait for somebody to tell me I'm special. I don't have to
Yeah.
wait for somebody to tell me that I matter because I will do it for myself. And I think so often, I think people will default to like trying to humble you and there are people out there who are arrogant. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not, but I think that there are people out there who are arrogant. So maybe you tell people so you can make them hey, calm your arrogance down. But I think deep down, like, man, I wish I would be more vocal about what I feel about how how much I'm trying to make the world a better place. So I really appreciate you saying that, and thanks for repeating that quota several times because it it was powerful. That's really beautiful, and I hope
Yeah.
you never stop believing it. I hope you never stop
No.
thinking it because I think that I don't know that that statement is actually all the way true. I think maybe there's some
No. Yeah.
yeah
I think that he meant a lot of things. Like another thing, when he said me this, was kind of
yeah
caught off guard. I will not lie. I was like, what are you telling me? Like, what are you
yeah
trying to tell me? But when I realized what he was trying to tell, I think is more like you didn't need to try to be someone special. You already are. You know. I think
mm,
this is what he was trying to tell to me because I was on a place of trying to do stuff and to be
mm,
more recognized, to people know more about me and everything, and this was killing me from inside, you know. And
mm,
he was like, you don't need this, you already are special. Is I think this
yeah
is what he was trying to say to me. It's like, with the wrong words, but was like,
yeah
um you don't need to become someone special, you already are on
mm,
your way to do it. You don't need to like kill yourself trying to be more when you already
yeah
are, you know.
yeah
This is the
oh
thing. Yeah.
yeah that's powerful yeah awesome awesome
Yeah.
and that's just the front. We're still in the front. Come on now, you got me
Yeah,
crying over
still the
here and that's
front.
just the front. Gosh. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, beautiful. Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Okay.
This
That's
is good. This is
hilarious.
good.
That's hilarious. Okay. So here's the back. Here's the back. And I think that I only had two, but I think I have the next one now. So on the back, what I wrote so far was worried and resisting rest. Worried and resisting
Mm,
rest are things that I don't really show. And I think the one that I'm adding right now is based on this last part that just happened because I think it's um is that I want to I want to honor I want to talk more positive about myself. That's what I'm going to write. That's what I don't well maybe so what is it I don't show? I don't okay, that's probably what more of this. I don't show that I sometimes talk really negative about myself. And
yeah.
so my commitment is to be on a very intentional basis speaking more positive about myself. Um, yeah, that's the one. I think that's the one that hit me already. So yeah,
Yeah.
the back of the mask. Um, I don't show. I don't talk about how. Oh yeah, I don't talk about how sometimes I am. Oh yeah, I feel this. Wow. I think I don't talk about how maybe unkind I am to myself. That's what I don't talk about. So I've already talked about it. So now that that's it. I'm done. I'm done on that one. But I feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. So yeah, thank you.
Caught you in,
Thank
caught
you for
me.
speaking that quote. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Thank you for you to letting out, letting talking about it.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that quote. Uh, yeah. I think I've said enough. I think I've said enough about the back already.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
the word that's oh
Yeah.
man. Yeah. So
I want to appreciate you for talking about this. I think it's hard. It's hard to talk about it. I feel the same. I am pretty hard with me, and I remember being pretty hard with my sister some days ago, and my girlfriend asks like, why are you treating her like that?
Mm,
And when she asked me like this, I was like, yeah, I never treated her like that. Why I'm treating her? And I realized was because I was seeing myself on her. I was like,
mm,
oh, she's acting like myself when I was younger, and this is how I treat myself. I treat myself like this,
mm.
and I was in shock. I was like, oh my god, yeah, this is hard. This is hard. I deal with it like every day,
Yeah.
and I think you are dealing with the same. I resonate with you. It's heavy. It's heavy.
Mm.
Yeah,
It's heavy. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Beautiful.
yeah. Let's go to the back, my back. So
Mm.
let let's take a breath. This
Yeah.
got me out of too, because like today, like I was like I forgot to take out the the food, the things that we shopped yesterday for my backpack. I put like strawberry some things on my backpack, and I forgot to take it out and put on the fridge. And I was like, I wake it up like on the like out of guard, like on the spooky mode. Like I was like, oh, because my girlfriend was like, oh, you let you let all the things on your backpack and they ruin everything. Your clothes are all draw or all are like awful. You need to clean those things. And I was like, oh my god, I'm so stupid. And
Mm.
I was repeating myself, like I was trying to deal with it and cleaning all this stuff and trying to do the things, and I was like, oh, you're stupid, you're stupid, you're stupid. How you can do that? How you can forget to do these things? Because like appears that all day you have something that you make wrong. And although I do things, good things, these ones stood out. Like those ones that are on the head. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that those are those moments, right? Where you're like, oh, yeah. And hopefully you look back and you are like, oh, that was so silly. Right. Then, not that I'm stupid. I'm not stupid.
Yeah,
Right. But I think in the
yeah.
moment we get into that self, self judgment, right? Like
Right.
and yeah, I mean, and so I think,
Yeah.
yeah.
And this connects a lot with my back of the mask. I will I will show right now the back of my mask. That is, I wrote three words. That is
Okay.
like things that I keep to myself, like in like locks, like seven locks. Like no one's
Mm.
look at it.
Well, but before you show them,
Okay.
but well, I'm glad you're about to show them because I want. I feel like I go in protection mode, right? This is me caring a lot, also. But when you say you keep them behind seven locks, that's pretty deeply locked in there, you know.
Yeah,
And
but
so, okay,
it's because, but I am fine with it. I am
okay,
fine
okay,
with it.
okay,
I
okay,
am
good,
working on it, and I'm dealing with it. But I
okay,
didn't know that I keep this to myself until like
mm,
some days ago. I was like,
okay,
those things that you don't know that you are keeping to yourself. And I
yeah,
figured
yeah,
out like some days ago, and I was
okay,
like, oh, this I keep to myself. Yeah,
okay, okay. All right, thank you, brother.
that is selfish, spoiled, and mistakes.
Mm.
And I will start with mistakes because connect a lot with what we are talking about. That I am perfectionist, and this is not good. We try to say and romanticize that perfectionism are good are not good. Like this is awful, because you always trying to be 100%
Yeah.
perfect, and you are always judging yourself, like always, 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 always. If you make one thing wrong, one mistake, or if something is not so good as you want to be, and will not be, like always will be something to be more, be better, and you always look to do this thing. You can be like doing all the things right, but if you do one mistake, you'll be looking at it. And
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
perfectionism. This is what it is. And because of that, I try to hide mistakes. I deal with a mistake is awful to me. Is awful to me
Mm.
because I felt wrong. I felt like if I do a mistake,
Mm.
I am wrong. I am a failure, And this is not it.
Yeah.
It is not, I know that it is not what it is. But like the first thing that I do when I have a mistake and someone like, "Oh, you did that." The first thing that I try to do is like laugh about it, to
Yeah.
try to minimize the mistake, or try to don't deal with it, like hide it or postpone, or
Mm.
um s- someone take this to them, like, no, it's your fault, and
Mm.
this is not, I am dealing with it right now. I am dealing with my perfectionism, my thing with mistakes, and I am getting better. But the same thing, like, always when someone are getting to me like, you made a mistake, it's awful. And sometimes, like, my girlfriend is more in touch with me, so she says like, "Oh, you forgot to do something," and for her it's like, okay, like, it's a mistake, okay, just deal with it,
Yeah.
but for me, it's like a huge thing, like a huge. I'm like, I spent all my day thinking of it, like, oh no, uh, I forgot to take it out of the trash, and I will spend all my day like thinking, oh, you forgot, you forgot, you forgot, you forgot, you
Mm.
forgot, and so for me, it's better to don't deal with mistakes because it's too heavy,
Yeah.
but I need to
Yeah.
deal with it, and to understand that mistakes are natural. Like, it's not
Mm.
though this big thing. Sometimes it is, but we can deal with it and try to solve it. This is what mistakes are, and I try to hide them. The other
Mm.
thing is that I am spoiled, and this is a tricky thing that I discovered some days ago, because I always felt that my father was spoiled, like, and I didn't I didn't want to look like the same thing, I judge him to do it,
Yeah.
and when I realized, I do it the same,
Yeah.
because it's like, when you are spoiled, you try to not do a thing to other people do to you, you know
Yeah.
it's like, you make like, you if someone can do to you, you let the person do to you, so you don't take the action to do it
Mm.
yourself. And I am taking off this, like, make a list was one of the things that I trying to work it out and do
Yeah.
the things. But at the same time, I was judging my father a lot because he do the same thing, and I do the same thing, you
Mm.
know. And once I realized that, once I realized why I do that, why I can't, like, I was not trying to change, I understand more why my father did the same, you know. And I was okay. I understand right now, but I don't want to be like this. Now I need
Yeah.
to change, and this is the same thing, I think. And I don't want to be like him, so I wanted to change it. And the other thing is selfish. And I I never thought that I would someday use this word to categorize something in me that is
Mm.
selfish. Because someday I called me the opposite. That is, um, it's not empathic, but it's like the people that is so much empathic that forgot his own life to
Mm.
do for others. And
Yeah.
once I was there, like once I was like this, but now I am selfish. Um, like I gave a lot of love for everyone.
Yeah.
I don't give more, but I was used to do,
Mm.
you know.
Yeah.
And one time I felt betrayed, you know, first for one person,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and these blocks a lot, like so you make like walls all over yourself, you know. And I was
Mm.
betrayed, and I was like, oh, this that I felt for this person, I felt for everyone.
Yeah.
So everyone can affect this pain, like can hurt myself this much as the same. Like I can't like divide those things. Like this person hurt me, this
Yeah.
person no. But it's like, oh, if I feel the same for both of them, they both can hurt me a lot. So I will block them. And I started to do a lot of this in my life, and I started to be selfish because once you
Mm.
don't have someone that you care, once you cut off these relations, cut off this feeling of taking care of a person, because when you take care of a person, you matters with this person, and just and it's just there that this person can hurt you. Like
Yeah.
if you don't matter with him, with this person, they can't hurt you. And it's a
Yeah.
risk. It's a risk that you need to take to be there to have relations.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I started to be selfish because I didn't want to be hurt.
Mm.
And I am
Mm.
trying to work it out, but it's heavy, and it's hard to do it because doing a new friendship or something like this, I always felt like, and if he or she hurt me,
Mm.
like I was hurting before, like, and this is awful because you start to think more of yourself than the others, and do the things for yourself than the others, and you change it a lot. Like on the start, I asked it for everyone, how are you doing, and I mean it, like, how are you doing, you feeling right, and everything, and I cared a lot. Now
Mm.
I don't ask even if how the day of the person was, you know.
Mm.
It's a thing that I'm working on it, and if don't matters to me, then I will not like giving attention. And this is awful, this is awful, like was walls that I put on myself to block
Mm.
me for being hurt, you know. And this hurts a
Mm.
lot because when you start to do this, you start to be alone. Yeah.
Yeah. S- So interesting you said the walls, and I think and betrayal. Like I I think that that is true for a lot of people, and I've met a
Yeah.
lot of people who that's true for. I've met people who uh, have been betrayed, or um, and then they become people who are so shut off, or they have had trauma happen to them, and they become disconnected from others, and they become, and I think that that's so real, and I don't think it's easy, and so I appreciate you sharing that, and I think that, yeah, I just thank you for sharing that. I want to. I mean, I wonder in this, context of what we're talking about, not only on the show, but just in our lives, how do we get to a place of beginning to forgive? Because betrayal is hard, and I think deep down, like, I want to trust people. I like people, and because I've also been betrayed and have had, it almost is a moment you're like, oh, how do I not carry that forever into every other relationship? And it's hard because it's a replay. It's like, oh, if I let my guard down, this is going to happen again. If I let my guard down, this is going to happen again. And so I become calloused. I become closed off. I have these walls, right? And I'm just like, I just want to break. I want to, I want to get out of this cage, you know? It's like the story of Iron John. Have you heard the story of Iron John?
I think no.
It's a really long story, but I don't want to try and tell you now. But it's the
I will
story
look it
of
up.
of a wild man, basically the wild man in a cage, and 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 the little boy had the key to the cage, right? Had the key, but he had to go get the key. He had to go take the key back because the wild man had been locked away. And I think sometime in ourselves, our part of even our loving selves have been locked away. Our caring selves, our kind selves have been locked away. And it may be vice versa to the story of Iron John, because in the story, the little boy, the innocent little boy was trying to get his power back, his toy back. But I think that if we're not careful, we become the opposite. We become a wild man who is locked the little boy in us away, who've locked the kind-hearted, gentle soul in us away, and we sometimes can either ignore it or pretend it doesn't exist anymore, right?
Yeah.
Because it's sometimes a heavy load to trust to let ourselves be hurt again. And I think that can be in relationships, it can be in business, it can be in family stuff. It can be in friendships. It can be in our trust of our communities and politicians and all these things. Like, I'm never ever gonna XYZ again. You know, when we put that finite, when we put that infinite definition on things. Yeah,
Yeah.
man, that's powerful. Thank you for sharing that, brother. Thank you, brother. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for speaking your heart, and I feel I feel good. I mean, it was emotions. It was. I didn't expect that I was gonna have some. I was going to laugh more. I thought we were gonna laugh more, but but it's part of the
Yeah.
journey, right? It's part of the
Yeah,
work,
it's
right? The
part of
work
the work.
is, the work is not. It's not all fun and games. It's sometimes really heartfelt, and so
Yeah.
thank you for being a part of this conversation. Is there, as you being in Brazil and being there, and there's a lot of, I think, a lot of work that people, I've heard and I've met people doing work in Brazil to support young men around having deeper connections and community.
Yeah.
um is there any message you want to say to the world before we close out here?
I shared here a thing that I hide on my mask that I felt a lot. And what I want to share is that I think that are people out there that feel the same, as I do, and if you do that, you felt alone too. But what I want to say is that you are not alone. As like I felt the same, and a lot of people felt the same. I am in the movement, Million Mask movement, and I saw that a lot of people feel the same, and you are not alone. So if you are dealing with that, always remember, because when you are alone, I think we lost hope sometimes, but you are not. Remember that. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, Andre, Andre, Andre.
André.
I'm I'm always gonna say it in threes right now. We like say it 3 times. I'm like, I got it. Okay. I want to appreciate you for all you're doing for this movement. Thank you for your talent and your heart. I think it's powerful when someone really gets it. Right. It's one thing to have somebody helping create something, but they kind of don't get it. But when someone gets it, you can feel it in the product. And so,
Yeah,
thank you for being a part of this team with us. And folks, look, Andre and I, we shared our mass publicly. You don't have to share your mask publicly. You can do yours anonymously at millionmask.org. And those of you out there, we have a brand new site. I don't know if you've seen the new site yet, but there's a new site where you can go and make your mask. If you're an educator, teacher, counselor, coach, you can actually sign in to the portal. There's some really cool stuff happening. So we don't have a video yet about the new website, but we will soon. But you should go see it. If you haven't made a mask, I invite you to go do that, be a part of this movement, and maybe you just keep it there anonymous for now. And slowly but surely, I imagine you will find people in your life who you can talk about it with. Like Andre and I had this conversation today. You may not have a 1 hour conversation with somebody. Maybe you have a 5 minute conversation with somebody, but it goes deeper than the surface. It goes deeper than I'm fine or I'm cool or I'm good. It goes more to what you're really feeling in that moment. So trust that, and I believe that. And for all those out there, knowing that you're not alone, and there is more to you, there's more to me, there's more to us than you could ever see by just looking at us. Andre, thank you for being a part of this, and I'm excited about this campaign that we're about to launch. There's more to me, and thank you, brother, for being here today.
thank you a lot, Ashanti, for the opportunity and for being here too. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. All right, folks, we'll see you soon. If you have not yet made a mask, go do that at millionmask.org, millionmask.org, and we'll see you soon. Stay tuned for the amazing work that we're about to do in the world. And I hope you realize the beauty and the amazingness inside of yourself, that you don't have to wait for it from the outside, that it's inside of you right now, today, all the time. Take care, folks. See you soon. Peace. The Taking Off the Mask podcast is produced by Ryan Louie. Graphics are by Kelly Wong. And a special thanks to the team at Ever Forward, Vanessa Cortez and Choke Allen Alvarez. We'd like to thank everyone who's been a part of the creation of this podcast as we cross the 100th episode milestone and begin the work to the next 100. We hope that everyone who's been a part knows that they're a part of the Taking Off the Mask family. And we look forward to you being a part of it as well. If you like what you heard today, please subscribe, write a 5-star review, and share, as we look forward to continuing to have conversations that matter. Stay tuned for the relaunch of the Million Mask Movement on 11/11/22. That's November 11th of 2022. There's a math problem in there. You can find out more by visiting everforwardclub.org and following us on social media. Take care, and we'll see you soon.